Learning something new about ourselves is always fascinating. It's fun to know that our mind behaves uniquely, but at the same time they all function similarly. Therefore, these are some of the recent interesting facts about the human psychology. Welcome everyone. This is a new generation of class where we discuss facts about things and places. Our case study today is centered on the most interesting facts about human psychology. So sit back and enjoy. Number 1. Despite having the same recipe, food prepared by someone else tastes better than food prepared by you. According to a study, preparing a meal requires you to stand around it for so long that it later becomes less appealing to eat anytime you want to eat it. Number 2. A rule that is too strict will only encourage you to break more. Psychologists discover how this reactance phenomenon influences people's perception of rules. They will not only want to break a rule that restricts their freedom, but they also want to break more rules. Number 3. If you're not in danger, fear is a good feeling. There are those who enjoy scary movies, and there are those who do not, and the difference may be due to hormonal differences. Adrenaline, dopamine, and endorphin are released during fight or flight responses. However, your brain recognizes that you're not in serious danger, so you still experience that natural high, regardless of how terrified you are. Number 4. You're constantly looking for a human face in an inanimate object. This sensation is known as pareidolia, and scientists believe it stems from the belief that face recognition is an important part of social life. It describes how your brain prefers to find a face where none exist, rather than missing a real one. Number 5. Loneliness is more harmful to your health than you realize. A Harvard University study discovered a link between extreme loneliness and the same levels of blood clotting protein that causes strokes and heart attacks. In other words, not having friends may be as dangerous as smoking. Number 6. When you need a vacation, there is a psychological reason why you want to go to the beach. The sight of water has a soothing effect on those who see it, making them happier, calmer, and even more creative. As a result, living with such a view is a good idea. Number 7. Plan A is less likely to succeed if we have a backup plan. It doesn't hurt to be prepared every now and then. In a series of experiments conducted by the University of Pennsylvania, researchers discovered that when volunteers considered a backup plan before beginning a task, they performed worse than those who had not considered a plan B. Furthermore, once they realized they had options, their motivation to succeed the first time dropped. The researchers emphasize that planning ahead of time is a good idea, but you may be more successful if you keep your plans vague. Number 8. Catching a yawn might help us connect. Why? Even if you're not tired, do you yawn when someone else does? There are several theories as to why yawning is contagious, but one of the most popular is that it demonstrates empathy. People who are less likely to show empathy, for example toddlers who haven't learned it yet, or young people with autism, are less likely to yawn in response to someone else's. Number 9. 5 positive things must outnumber 1 negative thing. Our brains have a negativity basis, which causes us to remember bad news more than good, which is why you quickly forget that your co-worker complimented your presentation, but continue to dwell on the fact that a kid at the bus stop insulted your shoes. We need at least 5-to-1 ratio of good to bad in our lives to feel balanced. Number 10. We always make an effort to repay a favor. It's not just good manners, according to the rule of reciprocity. We're hardwired to want to help someone who's helped us. It most likely arose as a result of the need for people to help one another in order for society to function properly. Stores and some enemies like to take advantage of this by offering freebies in hopes that you'll spend money. Number 11. Some people enjoy seeing other people's rage. People with high testosterone remembered information better when it was paired with an angry face rather than a neutral or no face, indicating that they found the energy glare rewarding, according to a University of Michigan study. According to the researchers, it could mean that some people enjoy making others glare at them, as long as the flash of anger doesn't last long enough to be a threat, which could explain why that guy in the office won't stop making that stupid joke at your expense. Number 12. We believe what we want to believe. Humans are prone to confirmation bias, which is the tendency to interpret facts in a way that conforms to what we already believe. So no matter how many facts you throw at your uncle in an attempt to sway his political views, there's a good chance he won't budge. It's one of those psychological facts you'll have to accept as unchangeable. Number 13, you're programmed to like the music you listen to most in high school. Music gives us a rush of dopamine and other feel-good chemicals, which are amplified when we're young because our brains are still developing. Everything seems more important between the ages of 12 and 22, so we tend to emphasize those years the most and cherish those musical memories. Researchers have discovered evidence that suggests our brains bind us to music we heard as teenagers more tightly than anything we hear as adults, a connection that doesn't weaken as we age. Number 14, organizing information in bite-sized chunks aids memory. Your short-term memory can only hold so much information at once, which is why you use chunking to remember long numbers. For example, if you try to memorize the number 906-51372, you probably thought something like 906-53172. Number 15, if you've been tested on something, you remember it better. Testing actually works, which is one of the most useful psychological facts. According to one study published in the journal Psychological Science, people are more likely to store information in their long-term memory if they've been tested on it, and the more testing, the better, than if they just study and don't need to remember it right away. Number 16, even when we know something is false, we continue to believe it. Researchers in one science study fed volunteers false information, then revealed a week later that the facts were false. Even though the volunteers knew the truth now, fMRI scans revealed that they still believed misinformation about half of the time. It's one psychological fact to know that could make you smarter. Number 17. Social media platforms are psychologically designed to be addictive. You said you check your Facebook notifications quickly, but you're still scrolling 15 minutes later. Well, you're not on your own. Part of this is due to the infinite scroll. If you can stay on the site without interacting or clicking, your brain doesn't get the stop cue. Number 18. People become less concerned about others when they have more power. You've probably heard of Stanford's famous prison experiment. College students were assigned at random to be either a prisoner or a guard in a fictitious prison, and the guards began harassing the prisoners. The situation deteriorated to the point where the 2-week experiment was called off after 6 days. Number 19. It's not just about how much money we make, it's also about how we spend it. Even if you haven't reached your happiest income level, your money can still influence your happiness. You've probably heard that spending money on experiences, like a nice meal out or theatre tickets, rather than possessions makes us happier, because it allows us to socialize and feel more alive. However, another study published in Science discovered another strategy for spending money in the most satisfying way: spending it on others rather than ourselves. Number 20. Beginnings and endings are easier to recall than middles. When asked to recall items from a list, people are most likely to think of the things from very near the end, or from the very beginning, according to one study published in Frontiers of Human Neuroscience. The middle gets muddled, which may explain why you remember your boss wrapping up her presentation but not the middle. Number 21. We're confident that the future will be bright. Whether you like where you are now or not, according to research published in Current Biology, most of us have an optimism bias that convinces us that the future will be better than the present. We expect to advance our careers, never get divorced, raise little angels, and live to a ripe old age. Some of these just aren't realistic for everyone, but there's no harm in fantasizing. Number 22. Thinking in a different language makes your decision sound more logical. The languages we use have an impact on our judgments. Emotional reactions are the foundation of cognitive bias, and thinking in a foreign language allows us to disengage from these emotions and make more economically sensible decisions. In your native language, you're less discerning about money. In other words, your decisions are influenced by the language you use. Number 23. You're more concerned with a single person than large-scale tragedies. Another study from the University of Pennsylvania involved teaching one group about starving little girl, another group about starving millions, the third group about both situations. People who heard about the little girl donated more than twice as much as those who heard the statistics, according to the findings. Psychologists believe that even if you're willing to assist someone, you'll conclude that your small contribution will be ineffective when the problem appears to be too large. Number 24. You'd rather be prepared for something worse than not know what to expect. Researchers discovered that anticipating something negative is less stressful than not knowing how things will turn out. When you have no idea what to expect, the part of your brain that predicts consequences becomes more active. And number 25. You obsess over things you believe you lack. Consider the subject of money. The human brain is scarcity sensitive. It constantly perceives a lack of things it requires. Farmers, for example, make better plans when cash flow is good than when it was tight. Don't forget to like, follow and subscribe to this channel. And remember to hit the notification bell so that you have access to all our unlimited videos, discoveries, trending news, and also be notified when we release a new video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, we're sure you'd like to watch another one related to our channel. So stay tuned for more of our videos. And don't forget to like, follow and subscribe to our channel. We love you.